Hello everyone and welcome to Parsis IAS. In this session, we are going to discuss about today's news, that is 20th November 2019. Our first article of the day is with regards to solar eclipse and a place called Cheruvattur. Clear look at solar eclipse in Cheruvattur. Kasaragod site will have first view of the December 26th phenomenon in India. Cheruvattur is a place in Kasaragod district of state of Kerala. Now let us understand why this is in news. This is in news because people of Kasaragod district, which is a place in Kerala, as I told you before, they will have a rare opportunity of witnessing December 26 solar eclipse first among all Indians. So this is in news because people of Cheruvattur have a golden opportunity because they can see solar eclipse among the first of all the Indians. Basically, Cheruvattur here is one of the three places in the world where eclipse will be seen most clearly. Now let us understand what is solar eclipse phenomena stands for. So what is basically mean by a phenomena called solar eclipse? A solar eclipse occurs when a portion of the earth is engulfed in a shadow cast by the moon which partially or fully blocks sunlight. This occurs when the sun, moon, earth are aligned in a single line. Such alignment coincides with the new moon, indicating the moon is closest to the ecliptic plane. In the total eclipse, disk of the sun is fully obscured or covered by the moon. In partial and annular eclipses, only part of sun is covered. So as we are talking about solar eclipse here, an eclipse of the sun happens when, or the solar eclipse happens when, new moon moves between sun and the earth. We can see from the picture here, new moon moves between the sun. This is sun and this is earth. So new moon, this is new moon. New moon we call Zizigi. Zizigi is called, we call new moon as Zizigi term. So when new moon moves in between sun and earth, blocking out sun's rays and casting a shadow on parts of earth. So here on parts of earth there will be a shadow here, okay, blocking the sun's rays. A shadow will be shown here. Basically, this much part the moon is blocking the sun's rays. It will be a shadow only reflected there. The moon shadow is not big enough to engulf the entire planet because size of moon is very less as compared to size of the sun. So this is not enough to engulf the entire part. This area changes during the course of the eclipse because moon and earth are in constant motion. Earth continuously rotates around its axis while it orbits the sun. The moon orbits earth. This is why solar eclipses seem to travel from one place to another, because this almost travel at the same phase, and whenever earth moves and earth is comparatively bigger than moon, this rays also will tend to move from the shadow region. So this is what happens in solar eclipse, where earth, moon, sun are in straight line and moon is between these two bodies. Then we'll try to understand what is the word eclipse means. Eclipse. We are hearing about solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. First we'll understand what is the word eclipse means. Eclipse happens when a planet or a moon gets in the way of the sun's lights. So any planet or moon which comes in the way of sun's light, this is sun and this is any planet, whatever comes in between, then eclipse happens. Okay. Here on earth we can experience two kinds of eclipse, that is lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. As we just discussed, solar eclipse happens when moon gets in the way of the sun's light and casts a shadow on earth, or moon is between the sun and the earth. This means during the day moon moves over the sun and it gets dark. This total eclipse happens only every year and a half somewhere on earth. So this year it is happening in three parts of the world, and precisely in India we can see in Cheruvattur in Kasaragod. A partial eclipse when the moon doesn't completely cover the sun happens at least twice a year somewhere in earth. Next we'll talk about why only three places. We just said that only three places of the world can see solar eclipse which is happening in December 26. So why only three places? Because not everyone experiences every solar eclipse. Getting a chance to see a total solar eclipse is very rare. Why? Because moon shadow on earth isn't it very big. Please see this picture we have seen here. Moon shadow, moon is this much, comparatively smaller when compared with sun and the earth. So moon shadow will fall on earth only in this much portions. So this is not much portion. So only small portion of places on earth will see it. You have to be on a sunny side of the planet when it happens, and also you have to be on the path of the moon shadow. If you are in this path, reflection on earth, then only you can see the solar eclipse. On average, the same spot on earth only gets to see a solar eclipse for a few minutes, about just every 375 years. Now let us understand what is lunar eclipse means. During a lunar eclipse, earth gets in the way of sun's light hitting the moon. So we have just discussed before, eclipse means any body or planet that is coming in light of the sun's shadow. If anything come in between, that is called an eclipse. Lunar eclipse means moon's shadow is covered by, or moon's rays path is covered by earth. So during a lunar eclipse, earth gets in the way of the sun's light hitting the moon. This means that during the night, a full moon fades away as earth's shadow covers it up. Moon can also look reddish because Earth's atmosphere absorbs other colors while it bends some sunlight towards the moon. Sunlight bending through the atmosphere and absorbing other colors is also why the sunsets are orange and red, as we know. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon is shining from all the sunrises and sunsets occurring on Earth. So in this picture, we can precisely see this is lunar eclipse where sun's rays is totally covered by Earth. Moon is not getting any sun rays and it appears reddish in color. So now we know precisely the difference between solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. And a lunar eclipse happens when moon will be completely covered by Earth. Another important fact to be noted in this discussion is that annual solar eclipse is fully visible in Cheruvattur, as we discussed. Observers can experience the ring of fire that is characteristics of this kind of solar eclipse. This is a rare event that can be experienced only along a relative narrow strip on the Earth's surface. We just discussed that only a narrow strip, the portion of moon will be falling on Earth. This is a rare event, as we discussed. Eclipse is also visible in other areas, but the moon does not move centrally in front of the sun there, and the ring of fire is not visible. Partial eclipses will be seen from Mangaluru to Bepur. Now let us go ahead and see our next article of discussion. This is regarding health sector in India. Turning the policy focus to child undernutrition. India has sustained its progress in reducing stunting and the number of underweight children in the last decade. So under this particular topic with regards to child undernutrition, we'll go ahead and see why this is in news. We'll also make a quick reference towards CNNS, GHI, child wasting and child stunting. We'll also talk about what is the effect of educated mothers with respect to child undernutrition and how can we recover from it. What are the sanitation measures required, importance of diet or dietary supplements with regards to children, and what's the way forward. First, we'll try to understand why this is in news. This is in news because the Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey, which is called CNNS. So CNNS stands for Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey. Recently brought out a report, and this report is published with the help of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So this states that assume salience especially against two important factors. And the two important factors are with respect to Global Hunger Index or GHI and regarding child undernutrition. So the Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey or CNNS, which is released with the help of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, assumes salience especially against two important factors. One, the latest GHI or Global Hunger Index 2019 ranks India at 102 positions, 102 out of 117 countries. Second one is that India's past performance in reducing child undernutrition has been rather mixed. There was a moderate decline in stunting but not wasting. The report precisely shows us that child stunting, yes, there is a decrease in the data, but when it comes to child wasting, there is no changes observed. This is of course a data of concern. Between 2005-06 and 15-16, child stunting and condition of being underweight declined by 10% and 7% points. So 10% and 7% have decreased in child stunting and underweight. In wasting, the decline was only 1%, which is very sad reporting. These factors make the CNNS report timely and important, and this is why this is in news now. Now we'll have a quick reference towards CNNS or Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey. So as we discussed, this is conducted with the help of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is a kind of first ever nationally representative nutrition survey of children and adolescents in India. It was commissioned by the ministry and carried out by experts from various institutes, including various universities, and experts from UNICEF and other development partners. This was the largest micronutrient survey. So this is the largest micronutrient survey ever implemented globally and used gold standards methods to assess anemia, micronutrient deficiencies and biomarkers of non-communicable diseases among children for the first time in India, noted the ministry. And the CNNS survey have projected that 35% of children under the age of 5 years in the country are stunted, 17% under 5 are wasted, and 33% under 5 are underweight. So as we discussed, basically CNNS or Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey is done with the help of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. We can see here. Plus UNICEF is also played an important role. And this is the first measure in India which is done on a pan-India basis to measure malnutrition. Okay, this is the important key point. The main focus of survey was to conduct the micronutrient deficiency. At the same time, also non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol and kidney functions in children and adolescents were measured. Last session we discussed about National Family Health Survey. So let us understand difference between National Family Health Survey and Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey. NFHS collects data to measure the prevalence of stunting, wasting and underweight and household dietary intake to measure deficiency. Moreover, the survey collects data for the age groups of 1 to 5 years and adults and not for school-going children between age 5 to 19 years. So 1 to 5 and adults will be measured. But CNN measures all population level. Now let us understand what is the term malnutrition means. Malnutrition refers to deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in a person's intake of energy or nutrients. So it can be deficiency, it can be excess of nutrients also, it can be imbalances of nutrients. Then it is called malnutrition, or it is, we can say the child is malnourished. This can be broadly divided into two, that is undernutrition, that means deficiency of nutrition is there, and we have obesity, that means excess of nutrition supply is there. Undernutrition, which includes stunting and wasting and underweight. So this includes, so undernutrition again it is divided into three parts: stunting, wasting and underweight. Stunting means low height, okay, low height for the age. Wasting means low weight for the age, and underweight means low weight for the age. So these three will come under undernutrition. When we see the category of obesity, which includes overweight and diet related non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, stroke, diabetes and cancer. So obesity happens because of excess or imbalance in the dietary supplements. In this pictorial representation of India's political map, we can see data which is derived from Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey 1618 or CNNS, as we are discussing now. Okay, it shows that India's healthiest children are in its extreme north, south and east. When we are seeing India's map, we have south, north, west and east. So extreme healthiest children are towards the north, towards the east and towards the south. That means they are in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh in the north. Towards the south they are in Karnataka and state of Kerala, and towards the east, towards the northeast they are in Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya, and towards the east they place in Sikkim and West Bengal. And the report suggests that even richer states like Haryana and Gujarat fail to ensure that children have a balanced life. Haryana is here, Gujarat is here, very low balanced diet. Another important point to be noted is that malnutrition is most common in Janchatik Plain, this area, and Gujarat. So where the agriculture area is more, where Western UP Green Revolution was flourished. The malnutrition is more in those areas. Gujarat also fails to ensure that children have the required micronutrients supply. When it comes to healthy states like Kerala and Goa, they have a risk of children suffering from lifestyle diseases, but here too Gujarat does even worse. Even Gujarat also have lifestyle diseases. But when important point to be noted is that states like Goa and Kerala, where malnutrition comparatively to other states are less, but non-communicable disease rates are more. And finally, the northeastern states that provide better nutrition to children are prone to rising risk of obesity. That means excessive nutrition is also, or imbalanced nutrition is also given. In this pictorial representational graph, we can see national nutritional data with respect to states. We can see 5 top states: Sikkim, Kerala, Arunachal Pradesh, Odisha and Tripura. And bottom 5 states are Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Mizoram, Goa and Rajasthan, because with respect to 0 to 23 months old, getting minimum acceptable diet in percent. Basically, India has sustained its progress made in reducing the number of stunted and underweight children in the last decade itself. Despite the sustained decline, the present stunting level belongs to the threshold level of very high. So stunting is a major problem. That means low weight according to the height. Hence, this is of urgent requirement is increasing the ratio of decline. Thus, there is no magic policy want to reduce stunting drastically, but CNN's report draws our attention to an all too familiar factor which has not been received the necessary attention. Another important point to be noted is that educated mothers phenomena. That is, if the mothers are educated, nutrition level in children is seen to be increasing. That is, stunting among children under the 4 years or 5 years came down from 46% to 19% when we observed that their mothers are educated or they are given at least 12 years of schooling completed. It is impossible to transfer or transform poorest household into richest household very soon. But however, increasing the education attainment of women significantly is certainly a feasible ratio. Women's secondary education also plays an important role, might be capturing the cumulative effects of household wealth, women's empowerment and knowledge and health-seeking behavior. Now let us talk about the factor of sanitation. Open defecation and enhancing the access to safe water, sanitation are indeed appropriate policy goals which needs to be sustained. And also, when we are seeing the importance of dietary supplements, it is important to move away from the present focus on rice and wheat, which studies renounce as staple vain fundamentalism of PDS, to more diversified food basket with an emphasis on the coarse grains. It would be worth including millets in the PDS on a pilot basis in states where stunting levels are high. Evidence suggests that dietary diversity is indeed good for reducing iron deficiency anemia, levels of which also remains very high in India. It may be useful learning from the virtues in terms of food habits of the marginalized than from the vices of the privileged groups. The rising obesity among the latter is a cause of concern and is an emerging public health problem in India which demands equal attention. Now let's get into our next article of discussion today. This is with regards to history. That is, a lost opportunity in 1971. Indira Gandhi failed to convert India's victory in the year 1971 war into a durable peace with Pakistan. Let's get into this article and see what has been talked about. So under this particular topic, we'll try to understand why this is in news, what is Shimla Agreement, what deals with Delhi Agreement. We'll have a quick reference towards 1971 war with India and Pakistan, including Bangladesh. What are the drawbacks of these agreements being talked about and what's the way forward? First, we'll try to understand why this is in news. This is in light because November 19, 2019 was the 102 or 102nd birthday of former Prime Minister of India, that is Indira Gandhi. 35 years after her death, she continues to be regarded as the most courageous and decisive leader India has had ever seen. Her time in office was marked by epoch-making achievements, including swift and successful prosecution of the war with Pakistan in 1971. But critics point out that there is also serious lapses of judgment, including 1975-77 emergency situation and the storming of the Golden Temple in Amritsar in 1984. All ill-advised moves that cost the Prime Minister her life. This is a newspaper front page in the year 1971 during the war. It says that Bangladesh freed. Unconditional surrender by Pakistan troops. India orders unilateral ceasefire. So, Indo-Pakistani War of 1971 was a military confrontation between India and Pakistan that occurred during the Liberation War in East Pakistan from 3rd December 1971 to the fall of Dhaka on 16th December 1971. So it is also called Liberation War of East Pakistan. The war begins with preemptive aerial strikes on 11 Indian air stations, which led to the commencement of hostilities with Pakistan and Indian entry into the War of Independence in East Pakistan on the side of Bengali nationalist forces. Just it lasted only for 13 days. Since it has lasted only for 13 days, it is one of the shortest war in the history. Now let us understand what are the reasons for the war of 1971. So we know that after 1947 partition, East wing of Bengal have joined Pakistan as East Pakistan, and between the two parts of Pakistan was about 1200 miles of Indian territory. So we have West Pakistan here and we have India, and distance is 1200 miles, and this side we have East Pakistan. At the same time, Pakistan's military government did not pay much attention to the East Pakistan and Urdu was imposed upon it. The immediate source of conflict was denial of office of Premier to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman of East Bengal, whose party have won 160 out of 300 seats in 1970 election. That was the main pricking reasons. Pakistani leaders S.A. Bhutto and President Yahya Khan denied rights to East Bengal. The main triggering factor was that when Pakistan attacked Indian airfields in Kashmir, India attacked both East and Western Pakistan. India occupied the eastern half, which declares its independence on Bangladesh as Bangladesh. Both countries agreed to ceasefire, and Bhutto emerged as a leader of Pakistan, and Mujibur Rahman was the first president of Bangladesh in the year 1972. Negotiations broke out between Indian Premier Indira Gandhi and Pakistani President S.A. Bhutto, which led to signing of Shimla Agreement in the year 1972 for restoration of peace and order between two states. Now let us understand few reference towards Shimla Agreement of 1972. Shimla Agreement was signed between India and Pakistan in the year 1972 in Shimla, which is the capital city of Himachal Pradesh. It followed from Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971 that led to independence of Bangladesh, which was earlier known as East Pakistan and was part of territory of Pakistan. India entered the war as an ally of Bangladesh, which transformed the war into Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. The agreement was ratified by the parliaments of both the nations in the same year. So precisely, this is a treaty which is signed between India and Pakistan. Pakistan representing Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and India Indira Gandhi, and this is signed with the recognition of Bangladesh by Pakistan. That is, agreement also paved the way for diplomatic recognition of Bangladesh by Pakistan. Few important takeaways of these agreements are: both the countries, that is India and Pakistan, will settle their differences by peaceful means through bilateral negotiations. That means India has many a times maintained that Kashmir dispute is a bilateral issue and must be settled through bilateral negotiations as per Shimla Agreement of 1972, and thus have denied any third party intervention, even that of UN. This agreement also converted ceasefire line into line of control between India and Pakistan. It was agreed that neither side shall seek to alter it unilaterally, irrespective of mutual differences and legal interpretations. Next, we'll have a quick reference towards Delhi Agreement in the year 1973. The Delhi Agreement is on repatriation of war and civilian internees, is a tripartite agreement between India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. So, Shimla Agreement agreed recognition of Bangladesh by Pakistan as a separate entity or a different country, and that was in the year 1972. Next year in 1973, Delhi Agreement was signed between these three countries for the repatriation of war internees. The critics of the say that Shimla Agreement and subsequent Delhi Agreement which was in 1972 and 73 respectively, gave Pakistan everything it wanted. The territory it lost to India in the war and safe return of all its soldiers without one of them being held responsible for the genocidal campaign unleashed in what is now in Bangladesh. The particular Shimla Agreement reads more like a communique that a peace agreement with a country that had waged war on India. Nothing in the agreement pinned Pakistan down to future good behavior. It also included some laughable expectations, such as clause requiring both the governments to take all steps within their power to prevent hostile propaganda directed against each other. But whatever we lost in Shimla Agreement, whatever we failed to achieve for India could well have been obtained through the 1973 Delhi Agreement signed by India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, but that is also not done is what the critics say. If ever there was an inflection point in India's relationship with Pakistan, it was the moment that India had Pakistan on his knees holding over 15,000 square kilometers of its territory and 93,000 soldiers, nearly a quarter of its army, as prisoners of war with India. It is mystifying why India so easily returned both. A former Indian diplomat says that decision to repatriate Pakistani was taken to get Sheikh Mujibur Rahman back to his country alive and well. But that doesn't sound right for India. The repatriation of Pakistani prisoners of war occurred after signing of Delhi Agreement, long after Sheikh Mujibur Rahman have returned to Bangladesh in the year 1972. That means in 1972 itself he was returned, and 1973 agreement is saying that this is signed with respect for his return or safe return to Bangladesh. So while we're discussing what's the way forward, Indira Gandhi's inexplicable failure to convert India's victory in the 1971 war was in a durable peace will remain a blot on her record. We will continue to bear its consequences, one of them being confronting a nuclear Pakistan. That's all for today. Hope this helps. Thank you.